Yo, 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 what's up? Check 1, 2, this is Derrick Broze, Conscious Resistance, yada, 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 yada. Hanging out back in Houston, home, and my lovely room, relaxing, enjoying the Texas heat again, the humidity, and getting ready to go on a bike ride to enjoy my day and spend some time with family. But I just wanted to do a quick, maybe 10 or 15 minutes Q&A, AMA, Ask Me Anything, and my thoughts on the Decentralize Your Life tour, which I just got home last night, as well as my upcoming court case with the Houston Police Department, the District Attorney, Harris County District Attorney, that I just got back from court this morning. And along the way, if you guys got any questions to ask about the tour or the trial, then I will do so. So let me start with the first question. How is the case going? And I'll start there and tell you guys about that, since that's the first question we got. So for those who are not familiar, November 16, 2016, last fall, I just got home from Standing Rock, and I was reporting, documenting an action taking place downtown Houston. And I basically, after 2 hours of peaceful protests, of prayer and just marches and rallying around outside, I witnessed, there was a commotion across the street, and I turned and I witnessed this police officer violently throwing this dude to the ground. And there was people already around the situation. I was not the first one to notice the situation. There was people already videotaping the situation. I simply bolted over there, ran as fast as I could, and I definitely got very close to the situation. I didn't touch any of the officers. I didn't assault them. I didn't do anything other than put my camera as close as I could, and of course I exercised my freedom of speech, my voice, and made it clear that I thought this arrest, regardless of what the arrest was for, because I really don't care what he was being arrested for at the end of the day. The police are not supposed to be the vigilantes in the street, the arbiters of what is right and what is just. They're supposed to, assume we're innocent till proven guilty and take us in and let the courts decide. So that means they're not supposed to violently arrest us. And I've played the situation out in my hands before and asked myself, what would I do in this scenario? Am I just going to film and hope that filming an unjust arrest will actually fix things, or am I going to do something about it? And when I say do something about it, I mean like actually try to hold them accountable. And I also envision, for those of you who know that I talk about freedom cells, freedomcells.org, that I envision a future where our communities could actually defend ourselves and push back violent officers, violent criminals, street criminals, IRS agents, ICE agents, CPS agents, police, out of our communities when they act violently. Now, I wasn't trying to do that, but I did, as I said, exercise my freedom of speech. At some point I said, I will fucking disarm you. And I also called the cop a pussy, and I said, fuck you. And these are not ways that I typically talk anymore. I mean, I guess I still got that angry side of me. And I came back from Standing Rock after being tased, and I came home, and all of a sudden, this violence is going on in my community, and it just felt like a bit overwhelming. So I lost my cool for a minute, and I went running over there, filming, and at different points I definitely got pushed up against the wall behind the officers, so we were very close, and the cops kept saying, get away, not only to me, but to everybody around there. If you watch the video, which I'll post after I finish this live broadcast, or if somebody wants to find it, you can find it. It's on the YouTube channel for the Conscious Resistance, and it's on my website as well. Basically, plenty of people were yelling at these cops and were telling them that they thought the arrest was unjust. The man who's being held down violently was yelling, I can't breathe, help me. And so I just wanted to keep a camera on him. And then they brought out the cops on horses, and the horse cops surrounded everybody and tried to keep us from getting to the scene, and I just kept dodging and weaving and holding my camera in between the horse's legs and trying to keep the camera on this man in case he died, because I wanted to make sure that at the very least there was documentation about what was taking place. And along the way, like I said, the cops were getting in my face. At one point, the cop tried to grab my camera, and I brushed his hand aside. I don't even think I touched him. I just kind of went like that, and that's all on camera. I'm not saying anything that's going to incriminate me, because I did videotape this, and I uploaded it to the internet, and I do know that HPD has it, and HPD is planning on using it as evidence because they think it helps their case. I also know that HPD checks my website and my Facebook profile, and just this morning when I went to court, I saw a report from the DA's private investigator showing that they are aware of the article I wrote about this. And basically what I've been trying to get people to see is not only was the way they handled the situation BS, and I was simply doing my job both as a journalist. You could argue that I crossed the line as a journalist and became an activist when I started saying fuck you, but basically I was there to document it, right? And the police know who I am. I've worked with them for years in Houston, and even in the police report it said, well-known activist Derrick Broze. They claim they chose not to arrest me on scene because it would create a bigger scene or whatever. But basically, I've confronted the mayor, the police chief, all these different people in the community over the years, and they know who I am. And I have also been leaked information since 2012 showing that the Houston Police Department has held training sessions on myself and the Houston Freethinkers. I've had a former police officer leak information to us and specifically mention my name, saying, if you know Broze, let him know this is going on. And I've publicized this for years. I tried to get answers from the police department and from the mayor and was denied any answers. They claimed ignorance. I filed open records requests, and I have the documents showing that they've been following our activity since 2011. So what I believe is this is just an example of HPD targeting me. You know, they've been trying to, they haven't liked that I put cameras in their faces and all the different things I do over the years, and now they have an opportunity to mess with me. And as I say in the video, the only thing I wish I'd done better is to use better language and to remain calm, because saying fuck you pussy and, you know, come fight me and things like that, I mean, I was losing my cool. I was very upset. And as I said, I've thought about this situation very often. How would I handle this? And I think if we're organized, our communities can handle this much better than I did. But I did not interfere. They claim that two things. They say I scratched the officer's thumb. Yeah, literally they wrote that. They said I scratched the officer's thumb. And they say the act of me running over to the scene alone created a scene and was the interference. Now, basically anybody who was there, as I said, knows that I was not the first one on the scene, knows that other people were there. There were people closer to the arrest than I, and that I didn't touch this freaking officer. Either way, I went to court this morning, and, well, let me just wrap that up real quick. Is basically, whenever that situation unfolded, I'm dodging and weaving and trying to get video of them, they basically just said, get him. They started pointing at me, and so when I realized they were coming after me, I ran across the street. I got on my bike and hightailed it out of downtown. And I do want, and then like 2 days later, I was issued a warrant for my arrest. Some people told me, hey, there's a warrant out for you, and you need to take care of this. And we've been fighting the trial for 8-9 months now. And you will want to know this, is every single time I've gone to court, it went from 45 days in jail to 30 days in jail to 15 days in jail, and then they offered me time served or a fine, and that would be it. And I said no to every single one of these because I don't want to go to jail, obviously, but I'm not going to plead guilty. I didn't do anything wrong, as I've already explained, and I'm not going to take this charge. They're going to have to fight for it at the least if they want to put me in jail. I'm not going to give them any money, and I'm trying not to give them my time. So that's basically where it's at now. And today we went to the pretrial, and everything has been set. You know, they had a chance to dismiss it one more time, and they chose not to. So Monday morning, I think around 10, we're going to be going there, and we're basically going to be doing the jury selection. And of course, you know, in Texas, this is a misdemeanor case, so you know, in Texas, you actually get to pick a jury for a misdemeanor, which is, I think, not usual for most states. So I chose to go with jury trial and to try to convince a jury of my peers, so to speak, that I did nothing wrong. And we basically have an opportunity to ask them, you know, questions. I'm going to ask them, are you a police officer, things of this sort. We're going to try to just dismiss people, as this is typical in any case. We're going to dismiss people that we don't think are going to favor well towards my case. This is, for those who are interested, because I definitely need people in Houston who can pack, okay, 6 people, even better. If I can pack the courthouse, this is down 1201 Franklin, Monday, and this is Court 3, which is on floor 8. So if you have Monday morning, Monday afternoon free, please come out. And apparently this trial, these kind of trials, they tend to last 2 days, maybe 3 days. So I need as many people who are in Houston who are interested, who were witnesses to this. We're going to call our own witnesses. I'm probably going to testify, of course, and share this idea and all this information that I'm sharing with you guys now. And I'm sure the cops are watching this now too. So I'm not afraid of anything that I'm putting out already, because this is just the truth. And when you speak the truth in these situations, they can try to use it against you, but it's just the truth. So I'm looking for people. If you want to keep calling the DA's office, check my Facebook. I've had, you know, I've been posting all day. I found the name and the number of the DA's investigator if you want to call him too. It's all on my Facebook profile. I posted this morning. I would appreciate any emails or phone calls. Even Monday when the trial starts, just keep calling them. Let them know that the public is aware of this, and we're trying to use that public pressure. You know, this is what we have when we have an opportunity to see what the world could look like without government support and government interference. when it comes down to is that we have our reputation, we have our word, we have our name. So I believe in public pressure and putting pressure on these officials and confronting them when they do unjust things. And if they take our brothers and sisters, or if they, if you feel I've been treated unjustly, then I appreciate any phone calls, any emails. And I'm not asking you to say anything ugly to them, just to let them know that this is some bullshit and that you don't think it should go forward. So yeah, Monday things start. Have a couple days. Now I will say this: the sentence, it typically, I think, is at max it's just a couple months. But they have made it clear that they've filed enhancements because of my. I'm very open. I used to have a drug addiction. I went to prison. So in 2005, I was charged with felony possession of controlled substance, and a couple years later, I got a DWI in 2008. So they're literally going back 9 years to find a charge and using that to enhance this. So now, because of that, and because I denied all the possible offers that they made, if I am found guilty, I will do at minimum 30 days in jail and up to 6 months. So minimum 30 days, 6 months in jail. Probation won't be on the table. I don't even want probation. And that's basically what I'm dealing with. So, and in Houston and Harris County, the jail is so overcrowded. You typically get 2 for 1, sometimes even 3 for 1. So let's say they gave me 30 days. I'd probably do about 2 weeks. But I really can't say at this point. And I'm trying my best to beat this and, praying and doing everything I can. I appreciate all the support because next month I'm scheduled to speak at 3 different conferences around the U.S. I'm supposed to debate Eric July in Miami. I'm supposed to speak at the Nexus Decentralize conference in Colorado. And I'm also supposed to be speaking at Art Outside here in Texas and going to the Unify Fest in New Mexico. So I got a lot of big plans and a lot of things going on. I don't need to be in jail. But at the end of the day, this is not about my ego or trying to be macho. This is just that I didn't think I did anything wrong. And more of us need to stand up to these situations and not let them just push us and cower us into acquiescing and accepting BS charges. And I have the freedom and the ability to do that. And so I'm going to choose to do that. And thank you for those who support me. And for those who think I should be in jail because of that, that's on you. I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm not here to debate anybody. If you think that, that's fine. But I'm moving forward because I know I didn't do anything wrong. Any other questions on that? If not, I'm going to move forward and talk about the Decentralize Your Life tour. And then I'm going to go on that bike ride I was talking about because it's sounding nicer and nicer every day. I ride bikes every single day for those who know me. But since I've been on the road for 5 weeks traveling the country, I rode a bike twice in 5 weeks. My legs feel dead. I need to work out. I need to get some exercise and get some sun. But if there's no further questions on my trial, then I'm going to talk about the Decentralize Your Life tour real quick, and including how you guys can get one of these. For those who were asking how to get the tour shirts, you may have noticed we wearing these tour shirts right here. So yeah, all right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Once again, thank you to everyone who's been supporting the last 5 weeks, 38 days on the road, doing this Decentralize Your Life tour sponsored by Bitcoin.com. And we're not even done yet. We did 2 weeks across Texas and New Orleans in June. We just got back last night after traveling for 37 straight days across the Southwest United States, Southern California, Northern California, Utah, Nevada, across the Midwest, up into the Great Lakes area, and then back down. And it was just a blast. I cannot say thank you enough to every single person who came to see us, to hear me speak, who had a conversation with me, who shared your story with me, to everybody who hosted us, who found a venue for us, who found somewhere for us to garden at, who bought the books and shirts and just everything. I mean, it was really just a constantly humbling experience. I'm traveling the country, supposed to share a message to you guys, and you're telling me thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for making the effort. And every night, each of us, the 4 of us, when we were traveling, we were just so humbled and so thankful for the experience, and like, wow, like, we can't believe these people are so nice. We can't believe they gave us this fresh food out of the garden, or they gave us a place to sleep, or people got us hotels or got us Airbnbs. I mean, it's just thank you. And I'm thankful that you recognize the value in what we're doing, because that's what it's about. Because we're not just doing this to be on vacation. We're traveling to try to spread ideas, to build the Freedom Cell Network, to spread agorism, to spread counter-economics, and to help change the world. I mean, that's truly what it comes down to. This is not just some vacation phase in my life. I'm trying to change the freaking world, and I dedicated my life to doing this, which is why I'm in these situations. It's why I'm giving these talks and writing these books, and I'm working on some new ideas. So that's where I want to start. Just huge, big thank you to to everyone who came to the tour. And I will answer your question in just a moment, Eugene, Amber, Moody. So for those who are unaware, the Decentralize Your Life Tour, you can find out all the full details at theconsciousresistance.com/tour. We still have the East Coast coming up. We'll be leaving in October, so I've got a month and a half now to relax or to be in jail, depending. And the goal of the tour is to spread tools of decentralization and taking a holistic perspective of our activism and our attempts to create a more free world, a more just, ethical world. So this includes not only understanding the philosophical importance of self-ownership and non-aggression and anti-authoritarianism and all these ideas, but also, and of course, the importance of recognizing the political and corporate structures, the power structures that attempt to rule our world. But it also goes towards looking at your own life, and this is where the holistic message comes in, looking at how you spend your money and where you spend your money, what type of currency you use, are you growing your own food, are you dependent on unsustainable food production systems, how and where are you educating yourself, where are you getting your information from, how are you treating people in your interpersonal relationships, what's your personal relationship with yourself. That is taking a holistic perspective and looking at all these areas of your life and asking, and which ways am I contributing to the problems that I claim to be against and that I want to combat, and then choosing on your own to take an honest self-assessment of your activity and decide, well, what am I really willing to do to make changes? And for me, I'm willing to do anything, whatever it takes. And so it's a constant battle, a constant process to work against my own internal tyrant and my own self-limiting thoughts to become the best version of myself that I am meant to be. And that's what this tour is about. We're spreading these ideas. We're coming to all these cities. We're talking about what we've been doing in Houston. We're talking about Freedom Cells, again, freedomcells.org. And we're sharing this message of holistic activism or holistic anarchism. And I can say this, one of the reasons I've been so humbled is because across the spectrum, across the tour, we've been talking to people from across the political spectrum, both people who are apolitical and who don't know left from right or conservative from Republican or Democrat, all the different labels. They're not even engrossed in that, but they get the ideas, they get the concepts. And then we've been talking to Ubuntu movement, Zeitgeist movement, Green Party, Libertarian Party, Black Lives Matter, anarchists, and again, apolitical individuals and people who are just coming and starting to pursue answers in political philosophy for the first time in their life, as well as individuals who are in their elder years who are very well versed in political philosophy but are still looking for answers. And across the board, we found people who get these concepts and get the idea that, yeah, rather than trying to vote these people out, rather than trying to overthrow them violently, let's simply compete with them directly and build something better. And the holistic message is about literally being the change you want to be, you want to see in the world, and being as consistent as you can, living your principles and your values every single day. So it's been a huge success. I'm so thankful for everyone. It's been a learning process for us too. Like, this is the first time I've done a huge tour like this, completely self-organized, and with the help of Miriam and Johnny and Jeffer here in the Freethinker House, and of course all the great people who reached out and emailed me. This is done completely grassroots through social media. We had sponsoring from Bitcoin.com and from Canasense and CheapAir.com, and that came in the form of financial support, but we planned this whole thing ourselves. We had people like Tyler from Salt Lake City Freedom Hive help design the logo, and so it really was a grassroots activist effort to make this happen. And so, big round of applause to everybody out there who helped us, and of course to Bitcoin.com for believing in us in order to give us the funds to do this. I have no problem saying that we were sponsored for $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. That went to our gas, our food, and paying for the trailer and just everything, and being able to budget a tour like this has been a big learning lesson. So it's been all around a great experience, and I'm looking forward to doing the East Coast. As I said earlier, October, we're hitting the East Coast. So look up the dates, theconsciousresistance.com/tour. And I hope to do this again. I know I will do this again. We're going to do this next year, and we're going to figure out a way to either do more cities, which is the hope, and maybe stretch it out, do more breaks, maybe just do 3 weeks and then take a break, 3 weeks and take a break, or go to certain areas where there's a need for help or where there's already a lot of activity happening, one or the other, and we can come and spend maybe 2 to 3 days and actually not just talk about the creation of Freedom Cells, but sit on the ground together and work and build these things and take on projects together. And that's my hope. And to do that for the next couple years, as I plan towards 2020. For those of you who have read my new book, Manifesto of the Free Humans, which is downloadable for free at theconsciousresistance.com/books, For those of you who have read it, you know that the plan is to launch an intentional community in 2020, most likely in Texas, but I'm open to elsewhere, that is going to be built around the principles of the sovereignty of the individual and self-ownership and mindfulness, which includes meditation, includes nonviolent communication, peaceful parenting, includes just generally being a mindful, self-reflective individual. And then also the ideas of permagora, which is simply the coming together, the synthesis of permaculture, bioagriculture, and the philosophy of agorism. And so the 3 points of this pyramid, this triangle, together with the agorist counter-economic strategy of siphoning our money and our economic and moral support away from the state and corporate powers, will lead to what I'm calling the conscious agora. And I'm hoping to see more and more of these all over the country and the world. So that's why I'm touring. There's a very strategic, purposeful method to what I'm doing. I'm going to be releasing a new project soon, and this is where I'll end it. I mentioned this to everybody who's been on the tour already, and for those who haven't seen us yet in the East Coast, this is, I guess, news to you, and for those who haven't been. But the next project I'm working on, which I hope to release in the next couple months, will be a workbook that will basically take each individual through this honest self-assessment. Now, in Manifesto of the Free Humans, John and I write about the need for an honest self-assessment. How each of us as individuals need to look at all these different areas of our lives that I was mentioning and decide and look at our habits, look at our goals, look at our stated principles, and look and see where the identify and then rectify the inconsistencies. So if you see that you talk about wanting to lose 10 pounds by the end of the summer, but then you look at your habits and you see that you're eating shitty food all day and sleeping till 6 p.m. and you're not even doing any physical activity, well, then you can see that the goal of losing 10 pounds will never be achieved because you have an inconsistency. Now, on an even larger level, larger scale, more pertinent to what we're talking about, if you say you want to change the world, you want to create a world free of force and coercion and harm, a voluntary world based on consent, and all of these values of non-aggression and self-ownership, but in your actual habits, you see that you are oppressive and authoritarian in your language and the way that you communicate with people, and you're actually not even out there promoting these ideas, let alone putting them into action in the physical world. So you can see, once again, an inconsistency and inaction where you are not going to meet that goal because of your inconsistency. So this holistic activism, holistic anarchism is about looking at this and being able to say, you know what, it's up to me. This is not so I can judge you or anybody else can judge you. Take note of this, because this is supposed to be a personal, private assessment. And take your time doing it. This is what I did basically when I went to prison. I walked myself through this. And again, as I said, it's an ongoing process. But this is how we start. So you look at all these different areas, and when you see the inconsistencies, you don't need to be overwhelmed, because we're all failing, quote unquote, in different areas. I could list off areas where I need to improve. We all need to improve. But if we're all striving for that, and say once you identify these things, you start focusing on one specific area, you're like, okay, well, you know what? I don't like the Federal Reserve System, and I really want to get rid of that. I can't keep using this Federal Reserve note. So let me start investigating this Bitcoin thing more. Let me start investigating this cryptocurrency more. Let me get involved in alternative localized currencies or time banking or barter networks or any other way to still exchange goods and to maintain the value for your labor and your products without having to support that system. Now, this is going to be more difficult for some than others, but it's about making that transition and taking those steps. So that is the new thing I'm working on. It's going to be available online for free, of course, and you could print it out on your own, but I'm also going to be selling it really just a nice little handbook that you can write in, and at each of the stops on this tour, I'm breaking it down. I'm giving people the first 4 pages of it, so I just gave you an even shorter preview of what it's about, but that is just essentially called an honest self-assessment. And as I said in Manifesto of the Free Humans, we mentioned this several times, and I felt maybe it was too vague and we needed to actually create this self-assessment and help people walk through their lives, and I'm hoping to work with my buddy Sterling Lujan as well to add a sort of a psychological component to this, so that we can start to actually not even just identify these things and then correct them, which is obviously important, but to identify them and then to look for the root of where these inconsistencies may lie, and these negative habits and these negative traits, and how we can address those things and improve ourselves both mentally, physically, spiritually, and then when we do that, when we take that action, that reflects outwards. We encourage other people to do the same. It has a ripple effect, and we can see the change happen in the world. So, if we really want to end these institutions, we don't want to violently overthrow them. We don't want to waste our time voting on them. We just want to create something new and just live our lives and be free. We have to be willing to do anything, and that means confronting your shadow, confronting yourself, working on yourself, being willing to go that far to do that. And yes, this assessment will be available on my website, and if you just follow me on Facebook, I'm sure as it gets closer, I'll mention it. I'm like right now, of course, I'm just dealing with the trial. Once I get past this trial, either next week the case is done and I go home and everything's fine, or I go to jail. Maybe if I go to jail, I'll just finish the assessment while I'm in there, because I definitely am not just going to sit on my ass and do nothing. I'll probably write another book while I'm in there, and I guess this sounds like the place to do it. But it will be available for sure. I'm hoping by the launch of the East Coast tour, so October. If not, then for sure by the end of the year. I'm doing my best. I'm also trying to work on 2 other books. But that's about it, guys. I'll answer. There was a question that about Virginia, I believe. Can you answer or speculate on why there seem to be no decentralized events or freedom cells in Virginia? As far as freedom cells, I think it's just a matter of growing it. I don't know why. I don't know when the last time you checked the website. If you checked it today, then maybe there's more people. I haven't checked it since I've been on the road, but I do know this. It's been growing every single day. We were emailed that the servers were crashing because it's been growing so much. And every single day when we're traveling, we're telling more people about it. Hopefully they're sharing about it, and it's reaching out to their friends and family. And sooner or later, someone in Virginia will pick it up. And I imagine there's probably some like-minded people out there. Perhaps we just haven't connected yet. And as far as why there's no decentralized events, it's because of a lack of time. Honestly, we had to cut this. We've already done 7 weeks on the road, and we're going to do 2 more weeks in October for the East Coast. But we're only hitting about 48, 49 cities. We've had about 60 to 70 cities reach out wanting us to come, including a lot more on the East Coast. So we're just having to cut it short because of a lack of time. My hope is that as this grows and as my life moves more and more in this direction, this is all I'm doing. Between journalism, speaking events, and community building, this is all I'm going to do with my time. And so if I can sustain myself, as I have been able to, thankfully, from sponsorships and speaking fees, then I will spend even more time doing this, and we'll hit all those cities. We'll do a total of 10, 12 weeks across the country, and as I said, we'll spend a couple days in some areas where it's necessary, and we're just going to build this, because that's what's necessary now. We need to be on the ground level, building, communicating, face-to-face, smiling at each other, hugging each other, getting to know each other so we can build strong relationships and create this. And together with the community building, the agorism, counter-economics, and then the personal honest self-assessment, I believe we will evolve towards what we're working at, and that is a more peaceful, free, voluntary, consensual society, free of I would say free of authoritarianism and statism and division. And with that, I'm going to say, if you want to support me so I can continue to do these things, please do sign up at patreon.com/Derrick Broze. That's patreon.com/Derrick Broze. I'm just, this is my life. This is journalism, is what you can expect from me through activist posts in the anti-media. I'm going to get back to writing very soon, especially if I don't go to jail. I'm going to continue touring. I'm going to keep writing books. I'm going to keep spreading ideas, and not only that, but actually putting them in practice and working here in the Freethinker House. Somebody asked earlier, too, how's the Freethinker House doing? The Freethinker House garden is doing well. We had a friend taking care of it. Of course, it's hot as hell in Texas and Houston right now, so we're having to restart a lot. But we have pomegranates on the tree. Our prickly pears are coming in with pears. Our papaya trees are growing. There's peppers in the garden I saw. We still have basil. We've got sorrel. We've got arugula. Some Swiss chard left a little bit. And some eggplant. So yeah, there's still a lot going on, and we're going to have an upcoming gardening day and restart everything. But yeah, if you want to support me in my efforts, please do go to patreon.com/Derrick Broze. And I mentioned this shirt right here, this tour shirt. These are basically, these have not been for sale on the tour. For those who have been, you have not seen these for sale. We've been wearing these every day, and we're giving them especially to all the volunteers who helped us coordinate, helped us find venues, and are giving us a place to stay and things like that. But we still got a whole lot left over. So I'm going to be giving these out to people who sign up for my Patreon. If you want to sign up at patreon.com/Derrick Broze, I've got black and white and pretty much all sizes except for small. So for anybody who signs up, like starting, sometime the rest of August, this month, for at least $5, we'll coordinate and I'll ship you one of these. And yeah, we'll do that. So please consider doing that at patreon.com/Derrick Broze. And then after the month of August and after the tour's over and we've given everybody theirs, if there's any left, then we'll just sell those through the website for $5 again. Because I want you guys, if you want to support the conscious resistance, you want to support these ideas and get people asking, what's that tour about? What's that shirt about? Then I'm thankful for your efforts. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying not to go to jail. I'm happy to be home to finish the Midwest and West Coast tour. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about all my upcoming speaking events. I'm working on a new book project, this honest self-assessment, and hopefully I'll see you soon on the road, or if you live in Houston, hopefully, you know, we'll see you soon. Come to the house, let's hang out. Thank you guys for listening, for hanging out with me today, for asking questions. I'm going to go enjoy a bike ride and some me time. So remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.